Bonelab is one of the best and most advanced VR sandboxes ever made. So, why does it feel like the game is stuck right now? Stuck in this weird state where the game isn't dead. Far from it, but it almost feels like it is. Updates have been extremely slow. Modders want new tools, and the general community just wants more. Bonelab has had a lot of ups and downs in the 3-ish years since it released. One of the biggest highs was right before launch. This was one of the most hyped VR games of all time, but everyone knows how the launch actually went. The game released as a buggy, glitchy mess, and a lot of players were extremely disappointed, especially people coming from Boneworks. Stress Level Zero did improve the game over time. After 3 patches, they fixed a good amount of the bugs. But one thing they didn't improve on was the mod tools. They were, and honestly still are, very, very limited. In fact, about 95% of the Bonelab mods you probably have installed right now use community-made tools instead of the official ones. Then came the more than infamous 2-year wait for patch 4. During that time, we had almost no communication from the developers. For most of that wait, no one even knew when the update would come out or if it would come out. And because of that, something really interesting happened. The modding community went absolutely crazy. Almost every day you can open mod.io and see something new on the trending page. Huge projects were being announced all the time. It was a strange time for Bonelab. On one hand, we were getting incredibly creative mods all the time. But on the other hand, it felt like the developers had completely abandoned us. And that wasn't a great feeling. Eventually, patch 4, 5, and 6 finally released. Patch 4 broke almost every mod in the game, which definitely sucked, but the updates did bring some big improvements. The game was optimized a lot, and new official mod tools were added. For a moment, it actually felt like Bonelab was back on track. Updates are happening again. But even with new tools, modding was still pretty limited. Most of what was added mainly helped with level creation. Now, people have made super crazy and advanced mods in the past, all with community tools of course, but providing official tools could completely change the game. So many amazing mods wouldn't have been possible or as great if it wasn't for the tools, such as Fusion, Bonelab's multiplayer mod. This alone adds hundreds of hours of enjoyment to Bonelab. Fusion truly keeps the game alive during these droughts. Now, we're in a completely different situation. This is not like the patch 4 wait. We're actually getting communication from Stress Level Zero about the next update and what it will be. The real difference now is the mods. If you go to mod.io today, you'll notice something strange. The same mods keep trending day after day after day. There aren't many big new projects releasing anymore. And when the mods slow down, the entire community slows down as well. YouTube is a pretty good example of this. It's getting harder and harder for creators to come up with new Bonelab content. You can only make so many videos about the next Bonelab update before people start to get bored. A good example of this is Mini Battlelop. Now, he has said before he wants to branch out into more general VR content, but recently he's been doing that a lot with no Bonelab videos recently. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. When the game itself doesn't have much happening, it's hard to keep making content about it. And this content slowdown has also affected the player base. When big mods release, Bonelab suddenly feels alive again. People are making tons of videos about it all of the time. But during those quiet periods, the game feels much smaller than it really is. Now recently it seems like we are closer than ever based on what Brandon has shared with us. And this update does look like it's going to be worth the wait, but the real test will be the SDK. Brandon has shown off nothing for the SDK, just base game interactions. They could completely change the game if they gave the tools everyone's been wanting, such as guns, vehicles, and so much more. For example, if you want to make a gun in Bonelab, the process is incredibly complicated. First, you need to install the Community Extended SDK, which sometimes doesn't even work and can take hours to troubleshoot. Then, you have to dig through hundreds of empty scripts with almost no documentation just to figure out what everything does. Most modders end up asking other developers for help, or digging through the game's source code themselves. And that's just for a normal gun. Something like a minigun with a spin-up mechanic is even harder. Now imagine if they added this officially. It would take maybe a couple hours your first time while figuring it out, then after that it could be minutes. One of my worries is that since the support for the game has far surpassed the time frame they initially had, is that they don't add a bunch of necessary mod tools, since the community tools have had them and they've been working for many years. And that's honestly my biggest worry. Bonelab has so much potential. The physics are incredible, the sandbox is amazing, and the community has proven over and over again how creative and incredible it can be. But if the tools never reach that level, the game might never reach the potential it deserves. Which is sad, because me and many other people absolutely love this game. The way the objects interact, the full body physics, and the freedom of the player is still ahead of most VR games today. That's why people are so passionate about it. Everyone can see how incredible the game could be if the tools and updates fully support it. So, I really hope SLZ pulls through. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I always try to improve one thing with each video, and I hope you have a great day.